Hey guys, I'm over here on Rain Boudouilla's YouTube channel. I'm not sure if I said that correctly, but correct me on how to say that because I really don't know how to say that. Anyway, this individual lives in Louisiana, was at the meeting, and recorded the entire meeting. And it's just under 2 hours in video length. And what I'm going to do is just kind of highlight some spots in the video, and then I'll put the link to the video down in the show more below the video like I normally do, and you'll have access to this channel and this video. So if you want to come over and watch the entirety of the video, by all means do. A lot of good information in there. I feel like any information is information that people need to know about. So I'll put the link down below. You guys can come watch the videos. Enjoy the highlights, guys, but I would seriously go watch the entirety of the meeting if I were you guys. So enjoy the highlights.
We'll start off with John Boozer with the parish giving an update.
We continue to have our meetings with the state agencies twice a week. We continue to do a flyover once a week and post that video online. We are continuing to try to provide as much information as we can as we get it in. You're going to hear tonight some of the Shaw Group experts. Again, they're providing that information to us so we can make informed decisions. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, as you all know, and I'm want to pass on that I still have a lot of unanswered questions. So from a parish standpoint, we continue to be there. We continue to do the air monitoring each day. We continue to boat run, monitor the bubbling that's in the waterways, and we'll still continue that until we can get some better information.
Next will be Bruce Martin with Texas Brine.
My name is Bruce Martin. I'm Vice President of Operations for Texas Brine. One of the sinkholes has become what appears to be more stable, more quiet, less movement than what obviously we saw in the first couple of months. And the maximum depth we found then was around 115 feet. We'd like to think that that's a sign of it stabilizing, but we're taking another depth profile again this week, late this week. So more data to come on that. From a hydrocarbon standpoint, the vast majority of the hydrocarbon on the surface of the sinkhole has been removed. We're now focused in the outer edges. We've actually, if you see the flyover videos or pictures, you'll see that we've actually taken oil containment boom and broken, kind of section off portions of the sinkhole in the outer perimeter so that we can kind of focus with wind and keep everything contained to where we can recover it near the mat road on the southeast portion of the sinkhole. To date, I think the total is somewhere around 1,900 barrels of material has been pulled off. Per the reclaimer that's taken this material, the composition has changed over time. It was more crude oil in the beginning, and now it's less crude oil, more waxy. At least that's what they're telling us. And we are working with several sinkhole experts, national experts, to complete a study that to confirm what and provide estimates on how big this sinkhole is going to get. It's underway, and we should be seeing something on that fairly soon. So in the past month, there's been a lot of progress made on the sinkhole, and I think you can see that when you look at the aerial photos and the flyovers. One thing about the sinkhole, as I mentioned, the maximum depth is around 115 foot in the center. There's actually, when you look at the tree line, that is where we consider the edge of the sinkhole. That's where, there's water that is a depth of about 10 foot, and then it drops to a deeper depth. And some of the profiles that we provided to DNR and the parish.
Okay guys, over here, this is one of the videos I put out. and was explaining the situation. What he just said was that he considers the edge of the tree line, which would be right in this area, right in here, to be the edge of the sinkhole. In other words, none of this stuff counts, is how they are viewing things. From this point forward, there's a 10-foot drop-off, whereas there's not a drop-off back in here. That's what he's saying at this point. Now, clearly, we have watched as time moved forward, when there was just a little bitty sinkhole to this giant sinkhole, we have watched the trees die off, the water move into the tree area, and then eventually the trees fall off into the sinkhole. But again, what he's saying is that they're not counting that area, and it appears that at this point, at least at this point, the sinkhole has begun to stabilize. But he also makes it clear that they're waiting on the data, the numbers, that to see exactly how big and how deep and how wide the sinkhole itself is going to ultimately become. So, in other words, there's still growth ahead. At what pace, at what speed, nobody knows at this point. That's basically what they're saying here. Let's continue with the video.
Beside the sinkhole, there's an area of soil and the surface where it is sunken down, and that's the general subsidence that has occurred as a result of the aquifer, the sands from the aquifer running out below that into the center of the sinkhole. So the material that most likely helped fill this deep hole is also what's causing the subsidence in the area around. So it's kind of like a bowl, and then you have a deeper portion in the middle. But I just wanted to point that out in case you see, as you see the aerial pictures, kind of what you're looking at. From a relief well, a shallow aquifer relief well, a month ago we had just gotten ours, I should say early this month, we had just gotten our well completed. We started venting it on the 2nd of November. We've got a rental flare system installed, I think it was on the 5th. And up until yesterday, we were flaring about 30,000 cubic feet a day. We did some modifications to the well to remove some water in the casing, and as a result, that flaring rate basically doubled. That's about 65,000 cubic feet a day. The bottom of the cavern, since we first entered it, first measured it on September 24th, has come up about 63 feet. So there has continued to be some sediment go into the bottom of this cavern and actually raise that floor. So it's a little bit over three-fourths full of sediment compared to what it was when we plugged it back in 2011.
Next is the science work group, Chris Knott.
All of these groups represented on this slide are continuing to be active in the science work group. Last time we were here, we had a list of individuals. What's been interesting is, as this issue has evolved, while the entities remain active, the individuals who may have had an expertise at the beginning have stepped back, and different individuals in that organization have stepped up to address the current issues with all of these groups. So that's been, without any direction from us, it's been very nice to see that. That DNR gets, that the work group needs to see, I'll send that out immediately. The conversations will continue email-wise, and it'll usually be an item on the next agenda. All of the actions, proposals, anything that's been brought up with respect to the salt dome, gas bubbling, vent wells, everything has been run through the science group. We get their expert opinion. We are an advisory group. We don't approve, but we either recommend implementing the plan, modify the plan, and we have rejected a few ideas. I had a slide the last time where we talked about what were some of the possible causes. Obviously, we have scratched off the salt dome movement, the regional tectonic activity, and the failed casing. There's no evidence of that. The salt caprock failure, that one's still in question. Some people believe that salt caprock may have failed when that gas and oil went to the surface of the sinkhole. We won't know that until we get additional seismic on the west side. We do know the cavern failed. We do know that we have natural gas and oil seepage into the cavern and up the western flank outside of the dome.
Okay, we have Conservation Director's update, Gary Snellgrove.
Sixth item provided for the company to determine the nature and extent of the subsidence collapse structure. As Mr. Martin had mentioned earlier as well, that plan is due today, and so we expect for it to be delivered this evening sometime, and we'll be reviewing that and provide any comments that we may have on that plan as well.
Thank you. Tom Killing with DQ.
There's some kind of an error in the video here where this gentleman here is trying to speak. It's paused or something of that nature. At least when I'm watching it, this may be corrected.
John,
But
I believe they can pick up that form at the command post. If you so choose that you want to get your house monitored again, you can just go to the command post and they have the paperwork there. And
again, guys, there was some kind of a pause in the video. I don't know what happened there, but apparently he was talking about health concerns or something in the form that the people can fill out. Let's just continue.
and you can leave it there. Next is Ms. Deborah Saxon with Shaw.
Alright guys, I had the mic on mute, but just a quick voiceover here for this last part. Clearly they said that there is that seismic tectonic plate movement has been ruled out as a cause in this situation. In the show more, I'm going to put a link to the fact that there are significant tremors taking place in the area, but not reported by USGS and things of this nature. So again, he makes it pretty clear in the video, several of them do, that they think that it has become more stable, and the reference is to the past, meaning it's more stable than it once was. It doesn't mean it is stable and it's done. It just means that it's more stable than it has been. All it would take, guys, is a quake to loosen up the bottom of the Bayou Corne Lake, or the sinkhole, the very bottom of it. And as seen in many diagrams, there are voids down there at the bottom of the sinkhole, and it would not take too much effort as far as an earthquake or some kind of seismic activity to loosen that material up, and everything began to sink even further. So just keep all these things in mind, guys, as you go through these videos. The most important thing is that the people in Louisiana get the information, period. It doesn't matter through whom or by whom the information comes to them, as long as they get the information, guys. That's all that matters. The people need the information so that they can make informed decisions about what to do in their area. I love you guys. Get in the Word, stay in the Word, and get the Word in you, and I'll talk with you guys later. Shalom to all.